Hello, and welcome to the show. Today, my guest is Mark Selvidge. He wrote a book called My Jelly Brain. When he was 11 years old, he was injured in an automobile accident. This self published author took that negative experience and turned it into something much more positive. Well, hi, Mark. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, John Christian.
So, I understand that you wrote a book called My Jelly Brain. That's quite the title. What exactly is that about?
Well, the book My Jelly Brain is based on a true story, my story, and it's about a little boy who is going through school and suffers a brain injury, and it's about his struggles through school. It's a book also to teach kids of the importance of helmet safety when they're riding a skateboard or skates or a bicycle, because we only have one brain, one wiggly jiggly brain, and we need to learn to protect it.
So let me understand. You actually got injured when you were a child. Is that
Yes,
is that what happened to you?
yes. When I was 11, well, just 2 days before my 11th birthday, I was involved in a motor vehicle accident, which left me in a coma for 3 weeks, or just a hair under 3 weeks. And when I came out of the coma, I had to relearn everything all over again, like an infant, only this time from the age of 11, only this time go from being right hand dominant to now being left hand dominant because I'm partially paralyzed on this right hand side. And also having no vision from 90 degrees rightward in either eye. So my left hand vision I can see fine, but this side I can't. So I was in a bad accident and suffered my way through the normal school system and not the special school, the normal school system. And this book is a very good teaching tool for little kids on helmet safety and why it is important to wear a helmet and protect the brain.
To inspire them to consider wearing helmets when they're skateboarding and that sort of thing?
Yes, to inspire them to wear a helmet, because to learn to protect their brain, because they only have one brain, and although they may be a good skater or a good biker, they can always fall down. And what better way to teach little kids about brain injuries than protecting their current brain?
And I understand you have a co-writer.
Yes, co-author Betty Ann Bewitt. She has been my life coach counselor ever since 2002. So for 30 some years, she's been my life coach counselor. Oh God, that's scary.
No, time passes pretty quickly, and it's kind of
Oh
neat.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh
and what
yeah.
whose idea was this book? Was that your idea?
It was a joint idea. Beforehand, me and her would go around to different elementary schools around the area and give presentations on biking, brain injuries, and bullying. We encompassed all three of those because all three of them are important things to me. Because if I hadn't had the brain injury, I wouldn't be bullied as much as I was. Yeah.
Is that covered in your book, the idea of bullying, or is it just about
Yes, I
safety?
do. I do believe that is covered in my book. I'm not. Yeah, I'm thinking it's not bullying, but inclusion.
You said earlier when we were speaking that you have some videos that you want to show us. You want to tell me about that?
Yes, I do. Me and my life coach counselor, Betty Ann Buitt, had thought this spring that it would be good to sit outside and read the book ourselves, passing it back and forth, reading it and showing the pages. And then that was a good hit. So then we did a PDF reading. So where it's just the PDF pages, but it's our voiceover. My Jelly Brain, How I Learned to Protect My Brain After a Car Accident.
Written by Mark Selvidge and M. Betty Ann Buitt. Illustrated by Melissa Baker Newen.
This is a story about a brain. My brain. Before I start my story, I have a question for you. Have you ever eaten Jell-O? I'll bet you know that Jell-O is wiggly and jiggly, right?
Did you know that our brains are just as wiggly and jiggly as Jell-O, but much more important? Our brain is the command center of our body. Our brains control how we talk, walk, and even how we think. When our brain gets injured, it doesn't get better, like a bruise or scratch on your leg. Sometimes brains never get better after an injury.
When I was 10 years old, I was in a car accident with my family and my brain got injured. My brain was injured so badly I needed hospital care for 9 months. 9 months, that's almost as long as a school year. My brain was not able to tell my body how to talk, walk, or even think for 3 weeks. Once my brain slowly started working again, I needed to relearn everything, just like a baby.
It took lots of practice and hard work, but very slowly my brain started to repair itself.
There are still parts of my brain that don't work properly. That is why I am not able to use my right hand and right leg like other people can. I had to learn how to ride a bike, skate, and swim all over again. After the accident, there were lots of times people didn't want to be my friend because I was different. That made me very sad. But there were still friends who invited me to play with them. This made me very happy. Even though I could not run as fast as they could or do the things the same way they could, they still included me. That was awesome.
So if you see someone on the playground sitting all by themselves, maybe you could sit with them and talk. Maybe you could invite them to play. Maybe you could even become their friend. That would be great.
Let's get back to the brain. We all have a brain, and it is very important to protect it. We need to keep our brains protected when biking or skating. We need to wear a helmet to be safe in case we fall down.
Let's experiment for a minute. Let's pretend these melons are like our brains. One melon will wear a helmet and one will not. What do you think will happen if each melon gets dropped? Let's find out. Do you see what happened to the melon? The melon that wasn't wearing the helmet got bruised. The one wearing the helmet did not. If that was your head and it wasn't protected by a helmet, your brain could be injured very badly.
Maybe you could tell your family about our jiggly jelly brains and the melon experiment. Just as I learned how important it is to protect my brain, I hope you have learned how important it is to protect yours. Remember, we only have one brain, one wiggly jiggly brain, and we need to keep it safe. I have an organization that I'm trying to get off the ground right now that's called Helping Hands. And it's an organization sponsored, ran by me, that takes about 3 to 5 kids out, that younger kids about between 12 and 18 out for a day of fun. So, and it's for all abilities. So people in wheelchairs or people that are scared of heights can do the ropes course and zip lines. As long as you're 12 and up, you can go on the ropes course.
Your book cover is rather interesting. Is that you sitting on that J?
Yes, it is me sitting on that J. The illustrator we had hired to illustrate this book was in Ontario. We never met person to person. We only met over Facebook video chat, and she nailed the images out of this park.
Yeah, I really like it. Is there
Cool.
any final words you want to say about your book and you're wanting to start a new program here in Nova Scotia?
I'm wanting to get the book out to all the schools across Canada and all the hospital waiting rooms across Canada. That's my goal. I've semi-achieved that goal here in Nova Scotia by giving it out to a bunch of different schools and all the hospitals and contacting the book bureaus, and I've went through all the avenues and tried my best, but right now it's all up to people like you and advertising like what we're doing and getting the word out there that'll increase sales.
Well, Mark, it's been a pleasure talking to you about your book and the motive behind it and the organization you're hoping to achieve across this country. And I wish you every bit of success that way.
Thank you very much, John Christian.
Thank you, Mark. That's our show for today. If you like what I do here on So Tell Me About Your Book, then hit that like button. And while you're at it, subscribe and ring that bell. And if you are a self-published author, I would love to hear from you so you can tell me about your book. Next week, my guest will be Karen Telling. She has written a book called Another Day in Paradise, as well as a second book called Our Little Piece of Paradise. Sounds interesting. So join me next week, and until then, keep writing.